what they were, and you wouldn't probably know it, they had windows all the way around here. So the first thing they did was to fill them in with stone. I mean, a window is basically just a hole in a wall, so it's a weakness in the structure. So they filled them all in, which was quite useful. And they also, well, there's all the external work they did, and they put in that white wrought iron that you could see at the top, that stuff there. Now that is said to be, it's one of the great secrets of the cathedral, because we don't make any great publicity of it. It doesn't even get mentioned in the guidebook, because people can't see it unless they do a tower tour. That is thought to be, well, that is certainly early 1300s, and many people who know about these things reckon this is the best in the world from that period of time. The size of the pieces, the complexity of the joints of joining them all up, apparently there's nothing like it anywhere else.
You've got
the white stuff.
The white metal structure type thing.
Yeah, and that was put in to strengthen the structure. And it did work, it certainly worked. It's taken a lot of stress, and it hasn't buckled or bent. But it was a huge piece of work, because you know, you're basically talking about a hammer and an anvil. I mean, wrought iron, you know, is sort of stick it in the furnace, get it nice and hot, bash it a few times, stick it back in, get it hotter, have another couple of bashes. And the things they did, I mean, look at those joints there, because they had no way of joining pieces up in those days. I mean, welding obviously hadn't even been thought about. The screw thread, a nut and a bolt, well, that didn't come in. The concept of a screw with a bolt tightening down onto the nut, or the nut tightening down onto the bolt, I should say, wasn't understood, wasn't appreciated until the 15th century, long after this. So they didn't have nuts and bolts, they didn't have welding, they just had to have a mechanical joint. So they made it up, although it's in wrought iron, as if they were working in wood. Because those are wood joints, it's how you might have joined pieces of wood together. Anyway, that's it.
So that goes, those horizontal pieces that go out through the hole?
They all go through.
They go through the wall and pull the walls together, right?
All of this stuff in here goes through the wall.
Right.
I mean, these big monsters, which I'll come to later, these brackets here, you see, they all go through the wall, through the column and out the other side.
Right.
I mean, there's a building on the other side of that. I mean, we've got that's the south transept, that's the north transept. We've just come into the nave, and that's the choir. We don't go into them, but you can look in through the door if you want.
So we're sort of 2/3 along the cathedral.
Sorry?
We're about 2/3 along, aren't we?
Yeah, roughly. Yeah. The crossing is more than halfway down.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's quite 2/3. About right. Yes. So Christopher Wren, who was from Salisbury, he did a survey of the cathedral, and he recommended putting in all these brackets and all these extra tie bars and all that sort of thing. And then these really big ones were done in the 1880s as part of that great big piece of work done by George Gilbert Scott, which included massive refurbishment of the inside of the cathedral, and also was part of when the Willis organ was installed as well. I mean, that just spent about a year ploughing through the archive records on all that, trying to unravel all the things that were happening.
When was the Willis organ installed?
1886 or 7, depending on whether you mean when it was built or whether it was used.
What's this made of?
Wrought iron.
It's got a coating on it.
Yeah, well, the coating is just to kill condensation.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah. But these were put through. The engineer was a chap called Shields, Wentworth Shields, who did the work. He did a lot of work around that time, evaluating things for the cathedral, and he supervised and put these 4 great big things in. And frankly, since they were put in, there's been no movement. You know, it's really pretty. This has really stabilised the building. Any questions? No? Right.